Rose, come here. Coco, come here. Up. Look. Close your eyes. You're flying. Look.
Coco.
Flying. Hey, where are you going? Hello, I'm Joyce. Welcome back to my drawing tutorial. So thank you for sending me a lot of pictures of you practicing at home and also some interesting requests from my students. One of them, I'm gonna address it today. Thank you, Kayla, for sending me your request of wanting to know how to draw RMS Titanic. So I'm gonna show you how today. So let's start with the side view because that is the easiest way to do it. And then I'm gonna show you a 3/4, a little bit more, showing its perspective and showing the three-dimensional Titanic cruise it's gonna look like. So the 2D shape is pretty simple. It starts with like a typical boat shape. And then it has several layers of rectangles stacking on top. And then it has its 4 very iconic pipes at the top, like that. Almost looks like a cake, but very much like squished. After that, it has some lines, some wires, they're connecting. It is pretty simple for a side view. But it's important for us to know how it will turn out in 3D shape. So for a 3/4, let's imagine we use our paper straight that way. So I always do this in class. So if you have a piece of paper, printing paper or whatever, it's rectangular, try to use it this way because I'm gonna angle the boat that looks like it's going at you, coming really close to you, okay? So to start, let's not start very bottom of your paper. We always want to leave some space at the bottom. So let's say we start around here. So you can do kind of like a guideline, a little bit wavy because it's on water. So maybe around like 3 or 4 fingers from the bottom. After that, we're gonna draw the very edge, the very pointy side of the boat. So something here, but directing at you. So don't get to the very side of this line, maybe around here. You want to draw a slightly slanted up line like this, okay? So it's not straight, you see it's going that way a little bit because it is also getting wider as it goes up, right? So we describe it this way when it's looking at you this way. So after that, we're gonna draw the far side, meaning the side that's not showing that much. So starting here, you want to go a little bit downward like this. You can at the same time do this side. So it's like an arrow. It's like a crooked arrow like that. So don't go too far. This is enough. And then you want to go again, getting slimmer as you go down like this. So after the arrow line, you go from wide to very skinny, very close to where we started here. So after that, we're gonna determine how far it will go into space. So as it goes further into space, you know it will be smaller, right? Look at my marker. This is so big right now, covering the whole camera. And when it goes so far, it is quite small, right? Okay, so around here, I just want you to draw a very short line like this. Okay, so very much like half of what I drew before. Getting very small, very far. So this will continue and link to this side. So you have a basic shape of the bottom of the ship like this. Okay, we'll add the windows and all the decoration later. Okay, so after this, may as well we add another line like that. So it's just a decoration of the Titanic, where this side is black mostly, and here it has a little white border around it. So we finished this part, the bottom part of the ship. Now let's go to the rectangular parts of it. So a rectangle, when it's 3D, it's no longer just like this. It is showing the side a little bit more, so it's more like something like this, right? So look, this is looking from the bottom. It can be like this, right? So can you tell what angle? Where's the camera looking at this boat? Is it from the side or lower or higher? If we can see more of the tip here, instead of showing what's inside the boat, like if we cannot see the boat from the inside where people are standing and all that, playing music, this is where the eyes, it's lower, or the camera is from a lower angle. This is where the camera is looking down, so you can see people inside. So can you guess, should we draw this way for the rectangle that's gonna stack on here, or this way? It is this way, because you cannot see the top of the platform here. You can only see the side mostly, and this bottom part is covered by this part of the boat. So I know it sounds kind of complicated, so let me just use another color to make it easier to understand. So here we're gonna draw this shape on top of this, starting with here, this line, where it changes the perspective. So around here, I would say, so maybe in the middle of this boat, you draw a short line like this going up, straight up, and then you want to draw this line here going to the side. So it will eventually meet the boat like this, and you stop right there. After that, we're going to draw this line here. So again, it doesn't go all the way to the end of the boat, because you see, it has some space here between the end of this part to the end of the rectangular part of it. So I want you to stop around here. So again, it's a shorter line than your first line. It's a short one like this. And then you're gonna link it like that with a straight line, because it's a rectangular prism. So like that. So if you want to be fancy and start adding windows, so you can do more lines following the same angle like this. And you can draw mini straight lines like this to separate into windows. You can do more rows if you want. Yeah. Okay. The real one has a lot more, but we're gonna simplify it. I'm gonna add just one more row. It's kind of tight. Okay, so something like that. Okay, now if you want to be fancy, you can build even more layers. You can even build another one of this that's a little bit smaller. So let's say I want one more, that is this layer here. Okay, so it gets a little bit further from this line. It's a very short one, it's not a very tall structure. And then again, you try to go sideways. Maybe this one ends a little bit earlier because it's a smaller one, right? It's smaller here. And same, a little bit shorter from the bottom layer. You can connect it like this. And of course, you can add windows or whatever lines. If it's very small, you can just do lines like this. Okay. All right, now let's go into the 4 pipes. So, and the ones that's in front must be bigger, and then slowly it will get smaller, and also the big ones will cover the small one. Looks like, if I use my markers, looks like something like this. So the big one is in front and it's covering part of the second one or the third one or the fourth one. So let's start with the one that's closest to us. So they are really cylinders like that. So again, should we be able to see the top if we are looking from the bottom? No. So we should basically flip it and it becomes something like this, right? So If there's nothing here, then you should be able to see the bottom, but of course the bottom got covered by many layers. So the top, it's what you can see is just, sorry, there's a fly. It's just a curved line like this. So let's start with 2 straight lines, like that, and then a curve at the top. So now the Titanic is really nice. It has a black color over here, and then kind of like a copper red over here. Okay, so you can do that with your color pencil. So that's the first one. The second one still have some space between the first one and the second one. They're not exactly overlapping yet, but just try to draw the second one slightly skinnier. It's not a huge difference yet, but slightly skinnier. And then also round the top, do that little black part. Okay. Another thing you will notice is I am following this slant, right? You don't have to draw this line, but because of the angle, you can see no matter the bottom part, the rectangular part, or these pipes also follow this slant. It's going smaller over here, over this side. Here's bigger because it's closer. So just make sure they are skinnier and shorter as you go down this side. So let's do the third one. So again, this time you can try getting even closer to your to your second one, and then shorter, skinnier. And then lastly, the fourth one. Maybe something like this. So you can make it even more dramatic, like you can even slant more. Try exploring. If you make it more dramatic, like getting shorter faster, how would it look like? Yeah. So this kind of angle gives you the illusion that this Titanic is coming at you more rather than the side where you're just going side like this, okay? So it's helpful to have a side profile like this and understand how it looks like when it turns, okay? So you can add all these fun things now. So it has many windows actually on Titanic. Just make sure you're not drawing windows like this, because it doesn't really follow the flow that goes this way, right? So the angle is going down and getting smaller. So what I would suggest is before you start drawing individual windows, try to draw very lightly with your pencil a line that kind of, you see, is following this slanting down. Just a line like this. It has, let's say we do 3 rows of very tiny windows. So here, you're gonna get a little bit flatter, and the lowest row, it's almost a horizontal line, just flat. You see it changed because it's bigger, so more space between the windows, and it gets smaller towards here, so there's less space between the lines, right? So just like this. And then you can draw a little bit harder for the actual window along these lines. So keep in mind, just like this concept, right? So bigger windows here, and then tiniest over the end. More space between the windows here, and then little bit of spacing between the windows. So in between, you just need to even it out, okay? So from big to a little bit smaller, a little bit smaller, a little bit smaller, to tiny like a dot. Yeah. So if you want, you can use like markers to trace it, and then you can erase that guideline that we had before. But it's very helpful to have that guideline just to make sure your windows are flowing with the right proportion and angle, okay? So if you want, you can also do this side, but it's going the other way like this. So it's very little, it's just showing a bit. So I did a guideline, and just basically I can only fit like 1 window, okay? So after all this, of course, if you want, we can have the iconic scene of me and Coco. No, it's Jack and Rose. So they are just two people standing in front of the boat. You can just do stick figure because they shouldn't be that big anyways, because or else they'll be a giant. So here's the boat. They should be like tiny, like a little dot. So you can just do stick figures for this time. Just two people doing this. All right. So this is the end of the Titanic tutorial. I hope you enjoy it, Caleb. Try practicing more. If you have any questions, any more requests, send me more emails. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.